Hi, I'm Eric Schultz, Anti-D Product Director for Kedrion Biopharma. Thanks for joining us today. This video will introduce you to our company, as well as one of our plasma-derived products that is important to many of the healthcare providers and patients at your facility. Allow me to introduce you to Kedrion Biopharma. Rooted in over 40 years of experience in plasma-derived products, we are an international company with global headquarters in Tuscany, Italy. In 2011, we entered the US market and established our US headquarters in Fort Lee, New Jersey. Our global reach comprises a commercial presence in approximately 100 countries and 6 manufacturing plants in 3 countries, including a production facility in Melville, New York. We have more than 2,300 employees worldwide. Of these, about 760 are in the United States. Kedrion Biopharma's mission is to produce and distribute human plasma-derived medicinal products used to treat and prevent rare and chronic diseases and disorders. Our therapeutic areas include hematology, immunology, neurology, and critical care. The very nature of our company is to help people live healthy lives, not only with the products we offer, but with our commitment to social responsibility. Now that you know a little bit about Kedrion Biopharma, I would like to change the focus of our conversation. As a pharmacist, your role is essential, not only to the hospital, but to the patients by providing quality care. You regularly interact with numerous healthcare providers from a variety of disciplines and departments to optimize patients' therapies. Simply put, you got a lot going on and are constantly pulled in different directions. One class of therapy you may not have time to think much about is anti-D therapy for the prevention of Rh sensitization. Yet for millions of expectant mothers and their babies, it is critical. To talk to you about the importance of anti-D therapy and the clinical profile of Kedrion Biopharma's anti-D product RhoGAM, I'm going to turn it over to a key thought leader in the pharmacy arena and an expert in plasma-based products. It's my pleasure to introduce you to Dr. Jerry Siegel. Jerry is a former Senior Director for Pharmaceutical Services at the Ohio State University Medical Center, where he worked for over 35 years. He received both his Bachelor of Science and Doctorate of Pharmacy from the Ohio State University College of Pharmacy. Jerry also served as Assistant Dean of Medical Center Affairs at the Ohio State University College of Pharmacy and remains a clinical associate professor there. Currently, Jerry is Vice President and Managing Partner of Safe Medication Management Associates Incorporated, a Rhode Island-based consulting firm.
Thanks, Eric. As a pharmacist, I know what you go through every day. In the pharmacy, you're responsible for many things, including the day-to-day operations of the department. Not only must you maintain all activities within the established hospital policies, you've got to work within pharmacy practice standards, as well as within federal and state pharmacy regulations. On top of that, you may also serve on multiple committees to support institutional decisions. So with everything else you have responsibility for, it can be a challenge to know everything about all of the products used to treat patients and continuously provide the highest level of care in your hospital. My goal is to provide you with the information that will be helpful to your department, hospital, and to patients it serves, helping you to provide the highest quality of care possible. As Eric said, I'm going to review the importance of anti-D therapy and the clinical profile of Kedrion Biopharma's anti-D product, RhoGAM. One thing I've come to learn over the years about RhoGAM, perhaps due to its long history, is that it's often referred to in generic terms, similar to how Kleenex has become synonymous with tissues. So, you may think that your pharmacy is dispensing RhoGAM when in reality, it could be a different anti-D brand. Knowing and understanding the differences between products can be valuable to your facility and to your patients. Let me remind you that RhoGAM is indicated to prevent Rh sensitization, also called Rh immunization, during and after pregnancy and other obstetrical conditions. Please keep in mind, RhoGAM is contraindicated in Rh-positive individuals. Maternal Rh sensitization can place the fetus at risk of developing hemolytic disease of the fetus and newborn, or HDFN, a serious, sometimes fatal disease caused by blood incompatibility between an Rh-negative mother and her Rh-positive fetus. Rh sensitization occurs during pregnancy when an Rh-negative mother is exposed to fetal red blood cells from an Rh-positive fetus during fetal maternal hemorrhage. It's the mother's immune reaction during pregnancy with an Rh-positive fetus that can lead to HDFN in future pregnancies. The risk of fetal maternal hemorrhage increases as pregnancy progresses. Today, there are nearly 4 million births in the U.S. annually. Rh sensitization occurs in approximately 1 in 1,000 births to women who are Rh negative. Thankfully, Rh sensitization may be prevented with the use of RhoGAM. Receiving RhoGAM helps prevent the Rh-negative mother's immune system from reacting to Rh-positive blood from her fetus. HDFN is a serious condition. All of these clinical manifestations are a direct result of the destruction of fetal red blood cells following the mother's Rh sensitization from a previous pregnancy. By all measures, the prevention of Rh sensitization is much preferred to the treatment of HDFN. Today, the rate of Rh sensitization has been drastically reduced due to the postpartum and antepartum anti-D dosing protocols that have been established in clinical trials. You're probably familiar with orders for RhoGAM as a postpartum dose for the prevention of Rh sensitization within 72 hours of delivery. Traditionally, the postpartum dose of anti-D is dispensed through the hospital pharmacies or blood banks because the mother is still hospitalized for delivery. But increasingly, the antepartum dose is being dispensed through the hospital as well. For background, let's look at the results of the clinical trials for both postpartum and antepartum anti-D therapy. The first clinical trial of RhoGAM in Rh-negative mothers at risk of Rh sensitization began with postpartum administration in early 1964. Due to the dramatic impact demonstrated in these clinical trials, a single dose of RhoGAM was approved to be administered to non-sensitized Rh-negative mothers after delivery of an Rh-positive infant. The single postpartum dose regimen lowered the rate of sensitization by about 90%. Due to this success, this is still the protocol today. Whenever a non-sensitized Rh-negative mother gives birth to an Rh-positive infant, she should receive RhoGAM within 72 hours of delivery. Now I'd like to shift to the antepartum dose of RhoGAM, which may be less familiar to you. By the late 1970s, it was recognized that a small but significant number of women who had received their postpartum RhoGAM dose appropriately had become sensitized during pregnancy. Most of these cases were caused by unrecognized fetal maternal hemorrhage after 29 weeks gestation. Based on these observations, clinical trials were initiated to investigate the efficacy of antepartum anti-D therapy in preventing Rh sensitization. The results from these trials demonstrated that when the mother received both an antepartum dose at 28 weeks gestation and a postpartum dose of anti-D, the overall protection rate was increased to 94.6%. Soon after these results were confirmed, a Harvard Medical School sponsored conference was held in May of 1981. At that conference, the two-dose regimen of 300 micrograms of anti-D at 28 weeks gestation and 300 micrograms of anti-D within 72 hours of delivery became the standard of care in the United States. It's important to note that RhoGAM is intended for maternal administration only. The newborn infant should not receive RhoGAM. A local adverse reaction can occur at the injection site, and a slight increase in temperature can occur. The mother should be observed for at least 20 minutes after receiving RhoGAM. Fetal maternal hemorrhage, which can put future pregnancies at risk of HDFN, can happen at any time during pregnancy, naturally or due to trauma. But are you aware there are clinical procedures that also increase the risk of fetal maternal hemorrhage and for which RhoGAM is indicated? These procedures include amniocentesis, chronic villus sampling, percutaneous umbilical blood sampling, and obstetrical manipulation. Your guidance can help ensure the quality of care for patients by working with your hospital colleagues to establish protocols for the proper use of RhoGAM in these less familiar circumstances, if not already in place. For the health and quality of care for patients, it is important to know when sensitization can occur and take appropriate steps to prevent this from happening. RhoGAM was the first anti-D to market in 1968, and today is the #1 selling anti-D product in the United States. As it is a plasma-derived product, you'll be interested to know that plasma for RhoGAM is collected from a trusted source, a dedicated RhoGAM plasma collection site in Williamsville, New York, called KED Plasma Somerset Labs. Plasma for RhoGAM is collected from approximately 500 donors. This small donor pool is intended to reduce the likelihood that the starting plasma pool will contain an infectious agent or viruses. The majority of active plasma donors have been donating for more than 5 years, and some for more than 30 years. It's important to remember that since all plasma-derived products are made from human blood, they may carry risk of transmitting infectious agents like viruses or, theoretically, the Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease agent. With a heritage of innovation since 1968, RhoGAM is manufactured using a proprietary process. An organic solvent and non-ionic detergent are used to dissolve the outer coat of envelope viruses, which destroys these viruses. These viruses, many of which are bloodborne, include hepatitis B and C, human immunodeficiency virus, and West Nile virus. An additional ultrafiltration step is used during manufacturing to physically remove both enveloped and non-enveloped viruses. No human serum albumin is added during manufacturing, further reducing the viral risk. Limiting the donor pool to approximately 500 donors also helps. Knowing that RhoGAM contains a small quantity of IgA, prescribers need to weigh the benefit against the potential risks of hypersensitivity reactions. These reactions can include hives, tightness of chest, wheezing, hypotension, and anaphylaxis. It's important to note that RhoGAM's mean elimination half-life of 30.9 days aligns with the mean elimination half-life assumed in generating current practice guidelines as set forth by the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, or ACOG. RhoGAM also offers administration features that hospital staff can appreciate. First, RhoGAM has a ready-to-use syringe, which eliminates preparation steps, and a safety shield designed to help protect from needle sticks. Other important RhoGAM features include a small 22-gauge 1¼ needle and an approximately 1 milliliter fill volume. Also, there are no light restrictions associated with RhoGAM. Understanding that not all hospital environments are the same, there are similarities, but knowing as much as we can about a product will help us make informed decisions to provide the highest quality of care possible. Eric?
Thanks, Jerry. Great information and advice from a credible source who really understands the important role the pharmacy plays in the hospital environment. Jerry provided us a thorough pharmacy perspective on RH sensitization and an overview of RhoGAM's clinical trials for antepartum and postpartum use, which led to the development of treatment protocols. He reviewed the clinical profile of RhoGAM and its long history of innovation since 1968, as well as a rationale for understanding that RhoGAM is a unique biologic and not a generic term like Kleenex. Jerry also explained alignment with ACOG guidelines, and finally, he provided some good advice about establishing a protocol for appropriate RhoGAM therapy if there isn't one already in place. On behalf of Jerry and myself, thank you for your time today. Please listen to the end of this video for important information about RhoGAM.
Important safety information for RhoGAM. RhoGAM Ultra-Filtered Plus, Rho-D Immune Globulin, human, 300 microgram is indicated for the prevention of Rh immunization, including during and after pregnancy and other obstetrical conditions, or incompatible transfusion of Rh-positive blood. RhoGAM is made from human plasma. Since all plasma-derived products are made from human blood, they may carry a risk of transmitting infectious agents, for example, viruses, and theoretically the Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease agent. RhoGAM is intended for maternal administration. Do not inject the newborn infant. Local adverse reactions may include redness, swelling, and mild pain at the site of injection, and a small number of patients have noted a slight elevation in temperature. Patients should be observed for at least 20 minutes after administration. RhoGAM contains a small quantity of IgA, and physicians must weigh the benefit against the potential risks of hypersensitivity reactions. Hypersensitivity reactions include hives, generalized urticaria, tightness of the chest, wheezing, hypotension, and anaphylaxis. Patients who receive RhoGAM for Rh-incompatible transfusion should be monitored by clinical and laboratory means due to the risk of a hemolytic reaction. Please see full prescribing information for complete prescribing details or visit www.rhogam.com. You are encouraged to report all adverse events of prescription products to the FDA. Visit www.fda.gov/safety/medwatch/ or call 1-800-FDA-1088.